We'll just talk a little bit just about the Donald Maass Agency,
Hmm.
because I want to give you a moment to make the case for all the esteemed audience who's listening to all the back catalog with all the amazing other literary agent interviews available. My God, esteemed audience, how lucky are you to have found this podcast? Just a treasure trove of information, but not necessarily because I feel like we more than made the case for you. We've covered that at this point, but let's make the case for the Donald Maass literary agent. Aside from the fact that a lot of writers have already been reading his guides to writing and learning how to write
Oh my
directly from the man
gosh.
himself.
Yeah.
But what are the advantages of going with the Donald Maass Literary Agency over other agencies?
No, I'm joking. Yeah, I think we're really great. I think as an agency, and just from witness, just like working with my other colleagues, that we very much care about the writer and their work. Um, of course, that's a given, right? But I think that there can never be enough emphasis on preparing writers not only with their craft, but the not restraints. Being ready for traditional publishing and kind of the not obstacles or the way, just the way that it works. So we're always about the project and making it the best that the best that it can be. And that if that project isn't working, what's the next thing that you're working on? Because it's very true, at the end of the day, the only thing that writers have control of is their work. So focusing on kind of other things like, your social media brand, or getting, I know this is going to sound wild, the biggest offer from a publisher. It's just like that stuff you can't control. You can't control what a publishing house is going to offer you in terms of an advance. You can't control who's going to fall in love with it. You can't control who even gets to see your book once you go on submission, or who's going to love it as a reader. So I really value that at my agency. It's been kind of passed down to me that at the end of the day and at the beginning of the day, it's the work that means the most. And I think that just fosters a really kind of like holistic relationships with clients. Because it's just all about, I think it can't be under said that a working relationship with the agent is very personal, because your writing is very personal to you. And it's about, like, it's just like maybe the first time that you're opening up with another person so intimately with your work. And it's just it's such a new change. And I think I really like the way that I kind of have been shaped to respect that
Gotcha. So
through my
2016, you're part park ranger, part intern now with Donald Maass. So how does, I'm always hearing that this is what's the word? Apprenticeship industry where you want a literary agent that's been trained by quality literary agents, which obviously abound at Donald Maass, and
Mm-hmm.
all of them are welcome on the podcast whenever they like. Um, what was that experience? How do you go from a Padawan to a literary agent Jedi?
Good question. Does anybody have an answer for me? I feel like I'm always growing and learning, which, honest, I think we were talking about this earlier, but I am never overconfident about what I'm capable of. And I think that makes me a great agent. Because I'm just, when you are open to asking questions and always learning, you are never blocking information, right? I never want to assume that I know too much. And I tell my clients this all the time: if I don't know something, my boss will, and I'm always happy to go. I'm always happy to connect you with him. Like, whenever I can't explain something, concisely, because words are hard. So
You might potentially transfer me straight to the man, Donald Maass. That could
yes,
happen.
I would be like, hold on, speed dial. Once I figure out how speed dial works, we can get him on the phone. But yeah, it's interesting. So I have always, and some of my other literary agents that I know, it's agenting when you first start. For at least the first 5 or 10 years, it's not your only income, because it's very much commission based. So I've always had at least one part-time jobs as usually 2, at most 3, aside from being an intern or when I was starting as an agent. And it's really great because it's not really great. I mean, it's not really great that I have a job. It's great in the sense that when I go into the office, or when we went into the office, it was really focused. So I actually, with my internship, was ran by Amy Boggs when she was with us at the agency, and we would do, weekly calls going over, like, let's read a contract and figure out what goes on with that. And let's talk about how to get to know editors, and like, how to get the best information to be like, okay, I know this person, I know their tastes, I know what kind of writers they're looking for. So I know when I sign this client, they might be good for them or not be good for them, might be good for somebody else. Really just like navigating that space of being an advocate for your client. And then one of the most important things that I've learned recently as I've gotten to this stage, my job is to give the client the information that I have about a deal offer, a publisher, or an imprint, and how they work, and how they've been marketing stuff, and letting the author and my client make the decision themselves. I am not here to push my client to take any deal or not to take any deal. I'm just here to give the information in a way that they understand, so that they can make their decisions, with confidence. And I think that was like one of the great things about, I mean, I'm sure every agent does that. It's not specific to my agency, but just as an apprentice, it's like, being in the office, seeing these things go down, and learning a lot about the history of publishing and things like that. They used to have one paper copy of manuscripts that they would send to editors, and it just go, if they would either the first person would say that, or it just went along to one single editor until they read it and either offered on it or rejected it, and it would just be one single copy for the whole submission. Can you believe that? Wild. So it's really cool kind of hearing stories. My boss has been in the industry for such a long time that he's seen.
That's the most maddening thing I've ever heard. You'd have to wait. Oh my God.
Imagine being like the 6th person in line. It has like coffee stains on it. It has like, writing all over the margins, and you can't ask for a clean copy. You might, because it's just
a smoker had this last. Oh no.
The cost of paper. I hope I answered that question.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm sure you've had so many insights, we couldn't possibly hope to cover them all in the scope of a conversation, but that certainly gives us some idea.
I'll tell you right now, my mind will go blank. It's just like that thing where it's so interesting, when you're talking about it's so interesting, like the stuff that's easy that comes to mind, and the stuff that but it's like buried deep in there. It's like only the right phrasing will activate the information. It's like Tomb Raider.